Okay, let's continue. Second module of environmental studies under BCS508 subject code. Again, multiple choice questions are there. Let's see one by one. The first question, in terms of greenhouse gas emission, how good or bad is hydrogen fuel? So the hydrogen fuel is zero emission fuel in a greenhouse gas emission. Second question, which of the following supplies the maximum amount of hydrogen gas? The answer is natural gas is one. Okay. Next question, which of the following uses hydrogen as a fuel? Fuel cell is the right one. What is the fuel cell? The fuel cell converts the chemical energy to the electrical energy. It converts the chemical energy to the electrical energy. That is called a fuel cell. So the fifth question, what does the hydrogen fuel cell emit? It emits the water. How does electrolysis produces the hydrogen? The option C is the right one. That is by passing the electricity into a water to a separate it into a hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. Seventh question, what is the major drawback of a stem methane reforming technique? The answer, release the greenhouse gases into a atmosphere. Okay. So then next question, what is the main problem in using hydrogen as a fuel for vehicles? For the hydrogen fuel vehicles, the storage is the main problem. Okay. So let's see the ninth question, which renewable energy source has a greatest potential? Solar energy. Okay. Which is the most common source of energy used to produce electricity? Coal is the right one. Okay. 11th question, solar radiation receives at any point on the earth is called as a isolation. The solar radiation isolation. Okay. What does the OTEC stands for? Ocean thermal energy conversion. Okay. Ocean thermal energy conversion. Like these kind of stand forms, like full form related questions, if it is there, just look over that question and by heart that question, guys. See, OTEC is nothing but a ocean thermal energy conversion. Okay. 13th question, which type of energy is obtained from the heat stored inside the earth? Geothermal energy. The main advantages of renewable energy resources is that they are non-polluting. Next question, which energy source is considered clean and enhanceable? For that, solar energy is the right one. Okay. Let's see the next question. Why wind energy is converted into electric energy using a turbine. Okay. Which of the following factors affected wind energy generation the most? Wind speed. Okay. Biogas is mainly composed of methane and carbon dioxide. Moving on to the next question, which of the following is not a renewable energy source? Is a nuclear. Okay. Energy obtained from the plant and animal waste is known as a biomass energy. Okay. 21st question, which of the following is non-conventional source of energy? Tidal energy is a non-conventional source of energy. Okay. Yes. The main raw material used in a biogas plant is animal drug is used. Animal drug is a main material used in a biogas plant. Okay. Which energy source uses the photovoltaic cell? Obviously, solar energy, which we have already studied in chemistry, right? Okay. Well, moving on to the next question. Hydroelectric power is generated using a flowing water. Which of the following energy sources causes the minimum environmental pollution? Solar energy. There is no lot of energy. It won't produce lot of energy, right? That's why the process of producing energy from a organic waste without a oxygen is called a anaerobic digestion. Which of the following is the major advantages of the biogas? Is produces the clean fuel and methane. Okay. Tidal energy is generated due to the gravitational force of a moon and sun. It generates the energy based on the gravitational force and force of the moon and sun. Okay, let's see the next question. Which renewable energy source depends directly on climatic condition? Wind energy. Okay, it can also pronounce it as a wind or wind energy. Okay, there is no problem. The major limitation of a solar energy is the inter um, intermittent availability. Okay, let's see the next question. Which form of the energy is stored in the fossil fuels? In the fossil fuels, chemical energy is stored. Which country is the world's largest producers of solar energy? That is China. Okay. Which renewable energy source uses the kinetic energy of a moving air? Biomass energy. Which is the main advantages of a hydroelectric power plant? Renewable and clean source. Let's see the 35th question. Which of the following is the disadvantage of a nuclear energy? For a nuclear energy, disadvantage is radiating the waste disposal. That is the disadvantage from that. Okay. Which gas is the mainly responsible for the greenhouse effect? Carbon dioxide is the right one. Which of the which of the following energy sources does not emit the greenhouse gas during the operation? Wind energy. The main purpose of energy conservation is to reduce the energy waste. Which method improves the energy efficiency in a building? Using the energy efficient appliances. Okay. Yes. Let's see the next question. Which of the following resources is the enhanceable? Solar energy is the enhanceable. Where is enhanceable? The energy obtained from the tidal is an example of a renewable energy. Which renewable energy source is most suitable for the uh, coastal regions? Tidal energy. Which process converts the sunlight directly into a electricity? Okay, for this photovoltaic effect. Which energy source required large land area for a installation? Solar energy. For the solar energy, we required a large area for the installation purpose. Okay. The next question. Which of the following is a benefit of a renewable energy usage? Reduction in a greenhouse gas emission is a answer for this question. Which renewable energy technology uses organic matter as a fuel? Biomass energy. Which is the major limitation of a wind energy? Unreliable wind speed is the major limitation for this. Okay, for the wind energy. Okay, yes. Energy conservation helps in protecting the environment. Which sector consumes the maximum energy in India? Industrial is the one which consumes the large energy in India. Sustainable energy develops the focus on both present and future need. Which of the following is an example of a non-renewable energy? Coal is the best example for non-renewable energy. Energy obtained from the decomposition of organic matter is called biomass energy. Which of the following gases is released during the biogas production? Methane. While releasing the biogas production, so while doing the biogas production, methane gases will be produced. Okay. Which renewable energy sources works both day and night? Geothermal energy. Which energy sources depend on the rotation of the earth and gravitational pull? Tidal. Which renewable sources is site specific? Geothermal energy. Which of the following is a major disadvantage of a hydro power? Displacement people. Which device converts the wind energy into electrical energy? Windmill. Which fuel is known as a fuel for a future? Hydrogen. Which energy sources has the highest energy density? For highest energy density, nuclear is the right one. The main objective of energy management is optimizes the energy use. Energy use. Okay. Which of the following following helps in reducing the energy consumption using the LED light? And lastly, which renewable energy resources is latest affected by a weather condition? That is geothermal. Option D is the right one. Okay. This is all about the module 2 of the environmental studies. Thank you.